Hey guys, YouTuber Minute here. Alright, and now continuing on with the Steven Spielberg reviews. Now, as I start to look at the Indiana Jones sequels, now here I am with a review for Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. So, yeah, this is probably looked at as probably the most famous Indiana Jones film. I mean, yeah, there are people that really do always seem to think of this one when they do think of Indiana Jones. Yeah, the film itself, though, yeah, this film has just really had a very mixed reaction to it. Some people love it, some people hate it, and yeah, personally, I can see why people really would say that this really is not a very good movie, or at least probably like the weakest Indiana Jones film of the original trilogy. Because yeah, I can really see what they're saying because really just well the story for the film it really isn't all that bad. Like the story for this film actually is pretty good. Just there are a bunch of things in this film that are just they're really stupid and silly, and we have two very annoying main characters. Yeah, it's just yeah, it's just all over the place really. I mean, yeah, some elements are good, some elements are bad. Gosh, it's just a very mixed bag all around for this film. So yeah, I mean, yeah, there just was some. Yeah, I was just kind of getting bored at several points in the film while watching it, just because it just got really unfocused and it was just really really annoying and stuff just dragged on for way too long. Just yeah, I was kind of getting bored while watching the film just because it got so unfocused and boring and just I just hated Willie and Shorty in this film. Gosh, they were just so freaking annoying, especially Willie. I mean, with her the constant screaming that she does. I mean, seriously, she screams more than Fay Ray did in the original King Kong. Like she screams anytime she's on screen practically. And plus, yeah, she always bitches and whines and complains all the time in this film as well. So yeah, she's a terrible love interest or the female character in these movies. Like she's just freaking awful. And Shorty is also really really annoying. Just his accent and his voice, just he never really shuts up, and he's just so annoying to watch also. So yeah, really just yeah, this film really just probably I really would say does have the worst side characters in the Indiana Jones movies. You know, I mean they're just so freaking awful. But everyone else in the film is pretty good overall. Like Harrison Ford, he's still good as Indiana Jones, and the villain in this film, he's pretty good. But yeah, like I said, the story overall really isn't all that bad. I mean, it does have a pretty good story. It's just Indiana Jones just helping in, um an impoverished village help to get their treasure back, pretty much. And so yeah, that's really what the main concept of this film really is. It's just Indiana Jones getting the treasure back to the village. So yeah, it's really not a very bad story. But it's just that we gotta it just it really just become unfocused at a lot of times in the film, and just Willie and Shorty are just so freaking annoying, and I just cannot stand to watch them. I mean, really, I would had to put the film on mute whenever Willie would come on screen just because I couldn't put up with her screaming anymore. It was just so freaking annoying. So yeah, I just really hated Willie in here, and yeah, Shorty just got really annoying. But at least he did serve his purpose. At least he did help Indiana Jones throughout the film. Like he did actually help him from escape and just yeah, he actually did help in the fight throughout the film. So yeah, he at least does stuff in the film. But Willie, she's just a totally useless character, and just her screaming is just yeah, she's an awful character. So yeah, but yeah, the story overall is pretty good. I mean, it does have some good action and fighting scenes in the film. Like like while it's definitely nowhere near as well paced as Raiders was, the film overall still does have some good, good like scenes with the Indian action stuff. So yeah, it at least does like make Indy still an awesome character. So yeah, I guess it does like do its job of doing that. But yeah, just like so unfocused and the two annoying characters in this just and just like how unfocused it becomes, it just really does bring this film down. So yeah, it is like overall I think a good film. Just yeah, not nearly as good as Raiders was, and probably I would definitely say this is the weakest film of like the original trilogy. So I would probably give this film like a 3 stars out of 4. Yeah. So yeah, this film does actually like act as a prequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like Raiders was set in 1936, and this film is actually set in 35. So yeah, the film actually is like set a year before the events of Raiders. So yeah, it was kind of interesting to see that the film really does act as a prequel. I mean, it's never like actually like acknowledged that it is a prequel, and I think a lot of people sometimes really do think of it as a sequel. So it's never actually like totally like like ever like officially like acknowledged that this film is a prequel, but it is one. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And plus, yeah, the film also did kind of like have a kind of an interesting wink to the audience, kind of like somewhere at the start of the film, like during the first like chase scene, and it does show like there's a club that is actually named Obi-Wan's Club or Club of Obi-Wan or something like that. So yeah, since like this film, like of course is from Lucasfilm, I guess like yeah, an Easter egg since from Star Wars. So I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, just it just really this film just really does like drag on a lot and scenes, especially like in the opening scene of the film. I'm like, this is an Indiana Jones film, and we have like a dance a musical number going on. So yeah, and yeah, I feel like that cart art scene, like where they escape the temple around the end of the film, that kind of like drags on as well. And there are scenes like that that just like do kind of drag on through this film as well. So yeah, it really just like becomes very very unfocused at times. But yeah, still like it does like tell the story good enough to really I think call it a good film. So yeah, I guess that's well the best way I can really put it. Just annoying elements and very unfocused at times, but still does do the job of telling the story in a good way. All right, so yeah, okay, so let me just get right into the premise of the film. So, like I said, the film was set a year before the events of Raiders. It's set in 1935, and it's shown that Indy is like making a deal with a crime boss in Shanghai, Lao Lao Shi. Is that how it's said? Lao Che. I think that's how it's said. Lao Che. Yeah. And after like he ended up like being poisoned by them in order for him to like give them back a diamond that they proposed to him in exchange for the antidote to cure himself of the poison. He then took a, a singer in the club, Willie Scott, as hostage in order to get them to like hand the diamond and everything back over, as well as the antidote. But eventually, like chaos broke down after like a gun was fired off, and then yeah, everyone in the club just was running all over the place. Ace and Indy eventually got a hold of the diamond, and then Willie got a hold of the antidote, and they were able to escape. Hey, after um, short round, Indy's 11-year-old Chinese sidekick, which doesn't even make sense at all, picked them up in a car. Yeah, and they eventually were able to escape Shanghai from a plane that was actually owned by Lao She. And of course, like Indy wasn't aware of it. And then as they were like sleeping on the plane, the pilots eventually like bailed from the plane and parachuted out, leaving it to crash over the Himalayas. But 3 of them were able to escape before the plane actually crashed, and they were able to like fly out on a inflatable raft. And then once the raft hit the the water, they were able to ride down like slopes into like a raging river, and they eventually ended up arriving at the village of Mayapur in northern India. And then the villagers felt that they were actually like sent by Shiva to retrieve like the, their sacred stones that were stolen from their shrine, as well as the missing children from the community from the forces in the Panket Palace nearby. Right? And then like they were just told, and then yeah, they were like informed of everything that was going on, and then as they like were journeying to Pankot, like Indy eventually like had a hypothesis that the stone could actually be like one of the fabled Sankara stones that actually promise a fortune and glory. And then once they arrived at the Pankit Palace, they were welcomed by the Prime Minister Shadar Lal. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm like mispronouncing these names. Yeah, yes, yeah. And then they were invited to stay the night. Right, and then they like ended up attending like a lavish, but well, a banquet that was kind of like lavish but grotesque. Yes, then and then eventually um Indy of course like was having the questions about like the villagers' claims, and his theory was actually about the like the ancient Thuggee cult being responsible for the troubles, and then eventually like later on that night, as like Indy and Louis were kind of like have starting to like have like a bond with each other. Other Indy like ended up being attacked by an assassin, and after he killed the assassin in the fight, it was eventually discovered that there was like a series of tunnels that were hidden behind a statue in Willie's room, and then Indy, Willie, and Shorty just set out to explore them. And as they like went deeper into the tunnels, they came across like a number of booby traps in the tunnels. Yeah, and eventually they ended up coming across a temple underground, and it showed that thugs were like worshiping Kali with human sacrifices, and the thugs were actually had one of their victims was chained in a cage and then like lowered into a ceremonial lava pit to be burned alive, and then it showed that thugs were in possession of three of the Sankara stones, and it showed that the thugs were led by their high priest Mola Ram. Yeah, yeah, and it showed that the children in from the Mayapur village, which were actually being enslaved to mine for the last two. And of course, and then like Indy, Willie, and Shorty were of course trying to retrieve the stones, but they eventually ended up being captured. Yeah, and yeah, Indy and Shorty ended up like being tortured with whips, and then the um the thugs eventually like ended up just forcing a potion down Indy's gullet, and then just like ended up of just like kind of making him just like pretty much hypnotizing and it just like put him in a trance to serve the thugs. And Willie like was actually chosen to be the next sacrifice. Nice, and Shorty also like ended up being put in the mines to work with the other children. But Shorty eventually ended up like breaking free and escaped back into the temple. And then, as Indy was like, of course, like serving with the other priests, like uh, Shorty tried to snap Indy out of it, but then at one point, Indy actually ended up like hitting Shorty, which was a great sight. I mean, yeah, I'm with Nostalgia Critic. I could watch that all the time, just like seeing him like hit Shorty over and over and over again. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he deserves it. Yeah, but eventually, then Shorty ended up burning Indy with a torch to like snap him out of it and bring him back to his senses. And then, yeah, Indy and Shorty ended up fighting off the guards and defeating Lyle. And then, yeah, Willie ended up being saved from being sacrificed. And yeah, Indy and was able to retrieve the Sankara stones, and then they ended up freeing the children as well. No, and as a bigger overseer was fighting with Indy, a young Maharaja, uh, uh, Zalim Singh, was like using was like trying to cripple Indy with a voodoo doll because she was also under Ram's control. But eventually, like Shorty knocked the doll away and burned him, burned in a ring of Singh to break the trance, and yeah, Indy he like also was able to escape and then had over the overseer ended up dying in a rock crusher, and then yeah, Indy, Willie, and Shorty then reunited and like were able to escape to the temple in a mine cart. Right, and they were like ended up being chased by thugs in the process, and yeah, this kind of like dragged on. Like this seemed to go on forever as well. Also, yeah, I was just like watching this, like, okay, when's this gonna end? Like this just seemed to like never stop. So yeah, and then eventually like Molaran then like tried to order a water cistern or to flood them out, but yeah, the three of them were able to escape, barely, and then after being cornered by Ram and the henchmen on a rope bridge that was just like right above crocodile infested river, Indy eventually ended up like cutting the bridge in half, and yeah, everyone, like all the henchmen, just like were falling into the river one by one, and then yeah, Mola Ram was like fighting with Indy over the stones, and then eventually like Indy ended up invoking the name of Shiva, and then the stones were all just glowing white hot, and then one ended up just burning Mola Ram's hand, and then he just ended up falling down into the river to his death. And then yeah, Indy was able to catch the last one, and as like Willie and Shorty all climbed up to the bridge, they ended up being saved by the British Indian Army riflemen, and that Singh had summoned. And yeah, they then were able to shoot down the rest of the thuggy archers that were trying to shoot at them. And then yeah, the movie then ended just with Indy, Willie, and Shorty returning to Mayapur, and then they returned the children and gave the missing stone back to the villagers, and then it like ended with one more romantic moment between Indy and Willie. Has it just like Willie was just telling Indy that she was done with him, but yeah, Willie then like with his whip pulled her back over to him, and yeah, then just showed that they like were gonna kiss, but Shorty then like blasted water at them with an elephant trunk. Like, and then yeah, they kiss, and then yeah, so the other children of the village all gathered around and like was were just jumping around with them as well. So yeah, and then yeah, then the movie then cut to credits. So yeah, like I said, a very unfocused film in many points, points and some, and yeah, just with Willie and Shorty, some really annoying characters, but it still does have like a pretty good story to it, and yeah, when it does have like some good action scenes every now and then. So yeah, I mean, it is like very unfocused. Like I said, I would say this is the worst of the original Indiana Jones trilogy, but yeah, there is still like good elements throughout the film. So yeah, so if you want to watch it, I guess I would recommend it. Just beware of some very annoying many annoying in parts in the film from particularly from Willie and Shorty, and just yeah, beware of just like how unfocused this film can get. But yeah, if you're curious enough, check it out. I guess it is like worth a viewing at least. So yeah, that's my take on it. So yeah, I guess I can see both sides of it, why people would like it and why people would hate it. So yeah, all I can really say is check it out and just draw your own conclusion to it. All right, so I guess that's all I can really say about it. All right, so this is a from my review of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and so yeah, next up I will be talking about the other sequel, Last Crusade. Hopefully that one is better. I've heard it is a lot better. So yeah, this so yeah, hopefully like Last Crusade won't be nearly as annoying, and it will be more focused than this one was. So yeah, looking forward to watching Last Crusade next. So stay tuned for that one coming up next. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.